Good morning, everyone. Wesley's off this week, so I've got the reins, and we're going to talk about drought and then our prospects for the future. So let's get started. Well, the drought picture is not looking good, especially if you live up in the northwestern parts of the state. We do have that large area of moderate drought still up in the northwestern corner of the main body of the state, and a smaller area of moderate drought out in the western panhandle. But now we also have a small area of the D2 severe drought up there in the northeast corner of Harper County and the northwest corner of Woods County. Let's take a look at our USDA topsoil map. This is the percent of the state that's percent short to very short for the week ending August 29th, and we see Oklahoma jumped 11 percentage points from last week up to 43%, so the latest bout with hot, dry weather has taken a toll on our topsoils, unfortunately. So let's take a look at our August rainfall. We do see some pretty good amounts down in the southeast and scattered about like in west central Oklahoma, far southwest, east central, but a lot of areas with less than an inch or less than 2 inches of rainfall scattered about. We can see that a little bit more on the departure from normal rainfall map for August, and we do see those deficits across the northern parts of the state, generally ranging from 1 to 3 inches, and we see those good surpluses from 2 to 6 inches down in the far southeast and parts of south central Oklahoma, and scattered about. But in general, most people saw a deficit during August. That's the reason for our sudden advancement of drought across parts of the state, and also our abnormally dry conditions. The dryness does date back to the beginning of summer for some parts of the state, especially up there in the northwest. Buffalo has received a meager amount of 3 inches for the last 3 months, which really won't do much for you if you're trying to raise a crop or get ready for planting. Let's take a look at the departure from normal map for the summer. Again, June through August, we see that Buffalo amount up there 6.1 inches below normal. Lots of areas up there in the northwestern part of the state from 2 to 5 to 6 inches below normal, and then scattered about down in central and east central Oklahoma. Lots of good amounts down there of surplus down in the far southeast and along that I-44 corridor, but the deficits do stand out in that summer departure from normal rainfall map. Okay, let's take a look ahead for the month of September, the U.S. Monthly Drought Outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. They do see that drought development being likely across parts of the western panhandle, north central down into east central Oklahoma, generally in the northern half of the state, also down in the far southwestern corner of the state. So unfortunately, if that does come true, we're going to see a lot more drought in our state by the time September's finished. Now let's end with some good news. September is normally the third wettest month for the state, at least for most of the state. So hopefully with our secondary rainy season coming on, we can delay some of that drought development or just end it completely. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.